Today on the 10-12 podcast, we're making picks for Big 12 Week 3 games. That includes the Backyard Brawl between West Virginia and Pitt, the Battle for the Bell between Cincinnati and Miami of Ohio, plus the first Big 12 game of the season, Houston hosting TCU, and a whole lot more. Welcome to the 10-12, the podcast that covers all 14 teams in the Big 12 Conference, plus Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. We are the flagship show of the 10-12 Network. Find every podcast in the network at 1012network.com, TEN, the number 12, the word network. And we are partners with Sports Social, Europe's biggest sports podcast network. If you're a Premier League fan, you need to go check them out. I'm your host, Phillip Slavin. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday. It's picks day. We're here to make picks for every Big 12 game, non-FCS included, as we always do. Partially because the lines don't come out till Saturday, so there's not like we could do it anyways. And B, it's FCS games. I like the FCS. We're not picking those. Joining me today, as they do every week, to make picks for the Big 12, he is the LGG OG himself. He is the defending champ from last season. He is Chris Rust.
Yeah, it's starting to slip away. Daniel came on strong this week.
Yeah, we have a new winner. Week 2, the new champ, dominated week 2. We're going to get to that in a second. He is our pro picker, Daniel Alexander.
Hey, just got a great week. And then, as discussed before we hit record, bad variance, man. But I'll let you. We'll get to that on the breakdown. We were very close to a 12-0 week. Let's see if we can run it back.
A lot of bad beats. Last week. Let us recount how the weeks went for each of us. Daniel, as we mentioned, went 9-3. Hit on the under 47 in Baylor, Utah. Hit on the under 36.5. That's sicko total in Iowa State, Iowa. Hit on the under 68.5 in OU, SMU. Hit on Cincinnati plus 7.5. We all did. It was a three-way group. That was perfect. Awesome. Hit on Texas plus 7. Hit on Boise State plus 3.5. Hit on the over 52.5 in Houston and Rice. Hit on the hit on OSU minus 3. We all had that one as well. And hit on Texas State plus 13.5 versus UTSA. The misses were the over 58 in Kansas, Illinois. Daniel and I both missed that one. The total was 57. 57 points were scored in that game. Under 52 in Kansas State versus Troy. And then the baddest of the bad beats of the weekend, Texas Tech plus 6.5. Missed that one after a pick 6 late in the game. Gave Oregon State a double-digit victory. No, it was 8 points? I think it was 8 points total. Yeah. Good gravy. That was a bad beat. Just a bad beat. But still, a 9-3 week for you brings your total on the season to 13-9.
First off, I want to say cap that Iowa State almost exactly. I think we were talking about team totals, and I said Iowa State's ceiling will be probably about 16 in that game. It'll probably end around 13. Of course, Iowa wins 20-13, so felt good to cap that well. Man, I was out with some buddies watching that Oregon Texas Tech game, and we all do. I mean, that interception happened. It affected the over. It affected total got beat on that, and then obviously Oregon covered. What a bad beat. Nothing you do but laugh. On to the next. Let's run it back. Let's sweep the board this week.
Chris and I both went 6-6. Chris hit Kansas minus 3, hit Kansas State minus 16.5. Iowa minus 4, Cincinnati plus 7.5, Oregon minus 6.5, and Oklahoma State minus 3. Misses were Utah minus 7.5. Utah, of course, got the win, but did not get the cover. SMU plus 16, Bama minus 7, UCF minus 3.5, Houston minus 9.5, and Nebraska plus 3.5. 6-6 for the week, 12-10. Just a game back from Chris for the season so far.
Yeah, not a terrible week. 500 is the worst you do, then you're doing pretty good, but we'd like to do a little bit better than that this week.
Not going backwards, but not moving forwards, just staying the same. That's all right. I also went 6-6, hit on Kansas State minus 16.5, hit on the under 36.5 in Iowa State, Iowa, hit on OU minus 15.5, hit on Cincinnati plus 7.5, hit on Boise State plus 3.5, and Oklahoma State minus 3. Misses were the over 58 in Kansas, Illinois, Utah minus 7.5, the under 54.5 in Texas, Alabama, Texas Tech plus 6.5, Houston minus 9.5, and the over 54 in Cal Auburn. That one wasn't even close. 6-6 on the week brings my total to 10-12. Hoping this week to get back above 500. We've got 10 games in the Big 12 plus one non-Big 12 game to pick. We got some we're gonna talk about, some we're gonna get through quickly this week. Very excited to get started. And you know what? Like, we've got some ads and some things to get to. We'll get to those. I want to start picking. You guys ready to go?
Roll.
Let's go.
I love the enthusiasm. You guys just, I mean, it's incredible. It's palpable. I mean, I'm over here. I was blown away by it. My hair looks.
I'm over here trying to finalize my
insane.
picks. My bad.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And he will be very successful for Chris. He does this like a small child choosing their NCAA March Madness bracket. Like, I like the blue turtles. Perfect. We do
that's
this
about how much thought
we do
goes
this
into it.
chronological order as always. That means we're kicking off no weekday games this week. I'm kind of sad. I enjoyed the Friday night games. But Saturday morning, 11 a.m., SEC Network. Well, that is just wrong. That's wrong. A Big 12 SEC matchup should not be on the SEC Network. Alas, Kansas State going off on the road to Columbia to face a former Big 12 foe, rivalry renewed. Missouri on the road. At the moment, Kansas State is a 5-point favorite. Total in this one is at 48. Daniel, you were our big winner last week, so you are up first, sir. What would you like?
God, of course, this is a game. First one we come out with. I've got nothing on it. Was this the matchup? Was it last year where we had an under and there was like lightning or something that paused the game, and then they came out and just everyone boat raced for the next 2 quarters and the game flew over? Am I remembering that correctly?
I remember a lot of turnovers that led to touchdowns for Kansas State.
Oh, and I think I had the under, and I just remember just feeling like I am burning money here in this spot. Look, Missouri was bet at Sharps betted on the 5 and the 6. K-State handled Troy sort of how we expect them to. Troy had a little more offense than I thought they would last week. Both of these teams, strong front sevens. Total has been bet up a little bit, but I'm going to roll with that under a 48. This has like a 24-20 or 21-17 type thing written all over it. Weather looks pretty good from what I can tell right now. Yeah, it looks like clear, no precipitation or anything, but I mean, K-State, I hope they don't burn me. Give me that under 48.
I have real money on this game on Kansas State to cover the 5.5. I think they will. Missouri's defense is solid, so is Kansas State's. So I considered the under in this one, but Missouri's offense isn't great. Kansas State has a good quarterback. Missouri does not. I get Kansas State for a less than a touchdown. Emaw, give me the Wildcats minus 5.5. I believe in what they are. I don't believe in Drinkowitz at Missouri. It might be close early, but I think Kansas State pulls away in this one, and it just, I think, a mismatch of quarterbacks. Chris?
Yeah, every man a Wildcat.
Daniel, I'm sorry. Did I say 5.5? Sorry, I made my notes.
Yeah, you did. I was going to address that.
I
was like,
I got a lot of 5s. I got a lot of 5s. I'm taking myself 5. No, just kidding. I'm giving myself 5 because there's a lot of 5s on the board. Sorry,
really?
I write notes throughout the day. Huh?
I showed a 3.5.
3.5 for Kansas State?
Yeah, that might be a bad line. That's just what action's showing.
I see solid. Back me up here, Daniel. All I see are 5s with a sprinkling of 5.5s. If that's what you want, I don't see a 3.5 anywhere.
ESPN and Action both have it 3.5.
Jumping in here.
They're not.
I'm going straight to the books.
Let me update.
4.
We're
at -4. Real line's -4.
We're at -4. Oh, we are at
-4.
Wait, do I see a 3.5? I do see a 3.5 at Circa.
Yeah, take it.
Oh,
I mean, that's as real. That's as real.
All right, this is what happens when I open up the old Surface and don't update.
So Daniel, is that being bet down then?
Yeah, people are betting Missouri.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's money that can move lines is betting Missouri. is what I should
Because
say.
action shows that the percentage of bets is mostly on Kansas State. So the money, though, is on Missouri. That's interesting.
Yeah, actions probably just report. I mean, I don't know.
Sure,
So I'm just sort of
yeah.
speculating here, but they're probably reporting like 1 or 2 books.
Okay.
Very,
Well,
very interesting.
I felt better about my Kansas State pick until we started looking at that. I'm still going to ride with the Wildcats. I feel like they're the better team here. Yeah, Troy scored some points, but I think both these teams are kind of looking forward to this weekend. There's a reason they want it on SEC Network. They don't want the general public to see this. Give me Kansas State.
All right. I'm trying to see if I can find any news here to explain why the line move has been what it has
I mean, 2
been
points isn't
so far.
crazy. That's probably not that big of
Let's
news.
see. Duffy's still not probably going to play. He's been out all season. Keegan Johnson, wide receiver. This is interesting. I don't know. I don't
Just
see
means we're
any
getting value.
significant. Oh, hey, I'll take it. You're going to make it easier for me to get 3.5. Still less than touchdown. Okay, I love it. Iowa State going on the road to a G5. I love games like this. Iowa State likes to go road games to G5 opponents. They're on the way to Ohio. The Mighty Bobcats. Is that right? I think it's the Ohio Bobcats.
Yeah. Yep.
I used to remember everybody's mascots, and I get older, and you know that scene in the Pixar movie whose name has escaped me about all the emotions, just the shot where they're just like throwing memories away. That's me. I've reached that point.
Golly, what is that? Oh, that movie.
Yeah.
So
Now, I
good.
can't remember the name of it. That memory has also been
Right.
pushed out of my brain. Iowa
It was
State
the
is
core
a-
memories and the clown, the bing bong. Why can I remember that but not the name of the movie?
because those are the things that matter. Iowa State is a 3-point favorite on the road. Total is at 42.5. I'm up first here. These lines have all changed from when I made notes just earlier today. This is insane. Look, you can be down on Iowa State, and I get why. On Monday's episode, I questioned Matt Campbell's "that's the best we played in that game against Iowa" quote that he made. After doing a little digging, talking to some people, it's not as crazy as a quote as it sounds. It doesn't work in the context because you lost still, but his point might have been somewhat valid. There's an argument to say that Iowa State outplayed Iowa on Saturday. There's various things, including, and I don't love PFF when it comes to special teams rankings, but Football Outsiders is apparently gone, RIP, so that's all I have now. And Iowa State special teams, through 2 games, are the best it's been, basically, since Matt Campbell's first year. So these are positives. The defenses are the strength here for both teams. Ohio has faced competition. Iowa's faced much better competition. So I'm taking the under. 44 points. I see again. I got my notes. What do I see? I got 42.5 across the board. Who have these 43s? Win and Station. Daniel, we go with 43s at Win and Station.
I'll give you a 43.
Great.
Give it
because
to him.
Because 43 is still more points than either team has had in a game so far this season. I will take the under 43. I know it's a low game, but just taking Iowa State unders, we talked about this last week. That's just how you win money. You just bet Matt Campbell unders. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to turn this inside out because I don't like doing over-unders. And I was just quoting the movie. That's the name of the movie title.
Thank you.
Inside Out. All right, so back to picks. I don't have a lot of reason for this. I like him to bounce back after the loss. On the road, though, I don't like it. Iowa State, though, to cover the 3.
Daniel?
This feels like it could land right on 3. My raw numbers make this closer to Iowa State, like -6.5. And then the question sort of becomes, what's home field advantage for Ohio? I'm going to argue probably pretty little to none. I've got real money already on Iowa State. A group this morning, it was either yesterday or this morning, I believe, hit Iowa State's. There was a pretty market-wide move from 2.5 to 3 that happened in the last 24 hours. So I think it's the sharp side. Chris, I'm rolling with you. Iowa State Cyclones -3. I think they cover this number. If they don't win this game, that'll be a bad look for the Cyclones this year. I mean, I know it's a short line, so it's sort of a coin flip on the odds, but it's like, you go out to the MAC and you go play Ohio and you're Iowa State, you lose these guys after you just lost to Iowa in a game where, you played well, but it got away from you on some wonky plays. So I don't know. They should win. I hope they cover. Iowa State -3.
Ohio's offense isn't very good. Iowa State's defense is good, especially that secondary. Like, Ohio might not score 10 points. If Iowa State doesn't cover this, if they lose this game, then it's because they just turn the ball over and over and over again. Like, I don't see a situation where Ohio wins this in any way other than some like crazy fluky stuff on the road.
I mean, books are telling us this final is going to be 23-20 Iowa State. And when you think of it that way, they're presenting a pretty close game to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, a game where you're sitting there a lot thinking, crap, is Ohio going to pull this off? So but I agree with you that Iowa State's defense, I think, can keep this Ohio offense in check. But, again, the institution of betting is telling us, hey, final 23-20.
Yeah. Ohio put up 13 points at San Diego State, 27 on FCS Long Island, and 10 at Florida Atlantic. I just okay. Cool. All right. Sure thing. Vegas is smarter than I, but I don't agree with them. Let's hit a couple of these quick here. We've got Oklahoma on the road at Tulsa. At the moment, you know what? I gotta quit it. Just ignore my notes because my notes are inaccurate because apparently these numbers have all had some crazy movement since earlier in the day. Let's go see. I love when I can't find things. It's great radio. Oklahoma currently a 27.5 point favorite on the road at Tulsa. Total is at 59.5. Daniel, sir, you are up.
Circa's got 28.
Sorry. Yeah, just go ahead.
I think Circa's got 28 right now. I'm taking Tulsa. Taking Tulsa at +28 at home. They're going to cover that number against Oklahoma.
Yeah, Chris, you were supposed to be first. I've lost.
No worries.
I'm not kidding when I say I haven't known what day it is all week long.
I'll jump in because I think that's a good time to jump in. I want to take Tulsa. I'm not sold on OU. There's something weird going on in Norman. The whole thing with the Levy news, and there were a couple of local, I'm at Oklahoma City, there were a couple of local prominent media members that were very pushy on the aspect that they were concerned that Levy would just walk, but he would just quit midseason.
I think most OU fans would be okay with that.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. OU, with Kel Gundy gone, OU doesn't have any to take over from him. And how are you going to get hired somewhere else if you're quit your last job over Art Briles? But regardless, I think there's more going on. I think Levy might just in general be unhappy. And this is just based on, there's a lot of rumor out there for none of this to be true, for something weird is going on in the locker room in Norman. However, I don't think Tulsa's the team to expose it. I think OU goes out. They get the win. I bet against them last week. I think it was too early. I do think this team will struggle in Big 12 play, but give me Oklahoma to cover this one. And I think I can get it for 27.5.
You said Oklahoma. You said Oklahoma covers, right?
Correct. Under the 4 scores. Yeah, 27.5.
Look, OU is 2-0 against the spread so far this season, covering lines of more than 2 touchdowns both times. I think they do it again. I just do. And I'm not. It doesn't tell me anything about Oklahoma. I think the offense will show up after everything that's been going on this past weekend. I think Levy had a terrible performance and then pulled all that crap with his father-in-law. I think Levy's time in Norman probably needs to be done at the end of this season, whether that's his decision or someone else's. I mean, the guy has done all the right moves since leaving Baylor, and the way he handled things at Baylor was god-awful. He was one of the ones out there with the CAB shirts and vocally defending Art Briles, and he's kept his mouth shut since he left. Like, this is a guy who has been in consideration for some head coaching jobs. You just came out and basically defended Art Briles and changed your Instagram profile picture to include him. Like, this is a weird, I keep saying it's a weird hill for you to have your career die on. And it's not like you've been just an amazing offensive coordinator so far. If I'm Venables, like, I've just found I found the sacrificial lamb if the season doesn't go great, and his name is.
Do you think if they
Levy.
still had Cale Gundy, that Levy would be fired?
I don't think Cale Gundy would make it. I don't know, because Cale Gundy is not wasn't the offensive coordinator. Like, I don't think that matters.
No, but he knew he knew enough of the offense to take over the role if he needed to. They don't have that person right now.
No, I think that Levy would still be here, and they'll deal with it accordingly at the end of the season. Honestly, like, I think this story is going to go away until the season's over, and then we're going to find out what happens to Jeff Levy. And it won't shock me if there's someone new calling offensive plays for Oklahoma when they enter the SEC. So, all right, next up, Chris, you get to go first this time since you were supposed to go first last time. I've thrown this whole thing all out of whack. It's one of those days. I can't help it. Cincinnati facing off against Miami of Ohio. It's a rivalry game, battle for the bell. Cincinnati, a 14-point favorite. Total on this one, 45.5. I see some 45s. I see some 45s and a half, if it depended upon if you want the total. Chris, you get to go first here, man. What do you want?
Well, if I can get the 16.5, that would be really good.
I already refreshed the page. Don't trick me.
This is what it shows. I don't know what to tell you. It was right.
Get off Action Network.
It shows the best on. I don't know. I'll let Daniel take a look at the lines. I'm not sold that's not the line, but give me
Daniel official ruling. What is?
Oh,
you know what?
14. It's 14. The line's 14.
Yeah, I'm wrong on this one.
Yeah.
I read the wrong column.
We're off.
That was what it opened at. 16.5 is what it opened at. It is at 14. That is correct. Shoot. It's weird because it seems like there's a lot of people out there picking Miami, and which is odd because Cincinnati seems like a better team, but they're coming off the big win. They're coming off a win where they were the underdog, right?
Yes.
Against Pitt. Yeah. So, and on the road now. Coming back home, maybe a little bit of a letdown. I'm going to take Miami here, I think. I like Cincinnati to win. I think they definitely win, but maybe it's a little uglier than we think. I'm going to take Miami.
I don't know what our order is anymore. Daniel, go ahead.
This Cincinnati Bearcats team I like a lot, and I think they're flying under the radar as a very good team this year. Blew out Eastern Kentucky that first week. I think that's who they played. Absolutely rolled them, blew the spread out there. Go on the road as dogs to Pitt, and they were just a better team. They performed better. I was on Cincinnati last week. They won straight up. They come in this week. My numbers have this thing closer to minus 19.5. I am really surprised Miami's taking on money, especially when Miami's offense ranks sort of in the bottom 20%. They're somewhere around, I've got them at like 112th best offense in the country. And they are playing a pass defense right now. Granted, they've played Pitt and Eastern Kentucky, but Cincinnati's holding quarterbacks to like, I think it's like high 30s, 38%, 39% here in my notes, completion percentage. And Gabbert in Miami, Ohio, like, accuracy is one of his number one issues. You know, he goes off last week against UMass, only completes 12 of 22 against UMass. It's like, I see no path to success for Miami of Ohio through the air. And I just feel like when Cincinnati gets up and Miami, Ohio has to go to the air to hang in this game, it's absolutely over. Cincinnati covers this number. I think Cincinnati's undervalued right now, and I'll be betting Cincinnati next week against Oklahoma as well. But long-winded version.
See, I think that's part of it. I think the position, this little sandwich game, trap game.
Sure. Oh yeah. This Cincinnati team, their secondary is performing at a very good level, and it's a terrible matchup for Miami's offense, just in my opinion. And I will have real money on Cincinnati on -14, and I'm taking them here on the pod -14.
Nice.
If this wasn't, I think two things are true. If this wasn't a trophy game, a rivalry game, an in-state game that's played annually for Cincinnati, I could see the look-ahead situation. But I also think, like, to some extent, I'm not sure Vegas has still adjusted to Cincinnati enough yet, given what happened the last 2 weeks. Like, maybe Pitt's just bad. Like, Cincinnati has vastly overachieved. I'm taking Cincinnati with you. I'm taking the -14. This is the oldest non-conference rivalry in the U.S., beginning all the way back in 1988. Cincinnati currently leads the series 60-59 and 7. 7 ties, yay. But they won 16 in a row. Let's just say that they're going to make it 17. They're going to cover. I will take them -14 as well. I think that is the side.
Just gifting me that one then.
That's fine. You know.
The 2v1.
I know.
No, not on this game. Not on this game.
It's shocking.
Right.
It is shocking that it opened at 17. It's been bet that that much money is coming on Miami of Ohio. I don't like the look ahead. I get. I don't buy it in the spot.
Okay, I'll make an argument for people betting Miami, Ohio. I love this angle actually. When you have such a low total, and it's like there was 16.5 out there. That means people might have been grabbing 17s, like some real serious money might have been hitting 17s around -120. I mean, even having a 16 when you have a total of like 46, 47. If you think Miami of Ohio is going to be competent at all, having that 16 or 17 with that really low total is a great spot to be in as a bettor. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of guessing because my numbers don't say bet Miami of Ohio. But in thinking why that number might have been hit, that's why. It's because it's such a low total.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Before we get to one of the absolute games of the week that I am just absolutely thrilled about, I need to remind you all about our friends at Charlie Hustle. The 1012 podcast and the 1012 network are brought to you by our friends at Charlie Hustle Clothing Company. Charlie Hustle is a vintage-inspired clothing company based out of Kansas City that specializes in collegiate and hometown apparel. Charlie Hustle wants you to be the best-dressed fan this season, so be sure to check out their wide selection of officially licensed collegiate apparel today. Show off your school spirit all season long. They've got some absolutely fantastic, old-school-looking college football helmet tees. They've got shirts for every Big 12 school, except Cincinnati. They're working on it. With your school slogan, Sick 'em Bears, loyal and true, Oklahoma State. Go Pokes, okay? They have some absolutely incredible stuff. If you have not gone to Charlie Hustle yet, you need to go do so now and stock yourself up for the rest of the season, basketball season, the whole collegiate athletic year. Don't forget to use that promo code 101215, TEN1215 for 15% off your purchase on all non-sale items. We love to be partnered with Charlie Hustle. They make incredible stuff. They love the Big 12. Their Big 12 selection is fantastic. They've got Colorado as well, and they've got some really good Colorado stuff if you want to go ahead and start stocking up on that school before they arrive, or you just want to join the bandwagon and have some Colorado gear and maybe like, oh yeah, I've heard about them. They've got Colorado covered as well. So go to Charlie Hustle. With over 30 schools to choose from, they've got you covered with all of your collegiate apparel needs. Shop at charliehustle.com. Promo code 101215 for 15% off all non-sale items. Charlie Hustle, vintage made fresh. All right, folks. It's time for the Backyard Brawl. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this game. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be fantastic. Here's my favorite thing about this. And I don't know how West Virginia fans will feel about this fact. This game opened with Pitt as a 2-point favorite. It has flipped to West Virginia as a 1.5-point favorite. We've got a flip. Total is at 47. I see 47s. I see 47.5. You got a lot of options if that's the side you want to take. Let's see. Is it 1, 2, 3, 1? I don't know. I don't know whose turn it is now. Like I said, it was Daniel, me, Chris, Daniel. Okay, I guess it's my turn. I'll go. Look, it's the Backyard Brawl. It's going to be an absolute insanity in Morgantown. This is the first time West Virginia has hosted the Backyard Brawl since 2011. I don't care how down the fans are about things right now. They will be there. They will be jacked. They will be crazy. Couches will be pre-covered in kerosene. Moonshine is going to be flowing. I kid about the moonshine, but y'all are going to be drinking. I know you're going to be drinking. It's going to be crazy. It's a night game. You're going to have all day to prepare yourself for this one. Pitt at home for the first time since 2011. It's going to be wild. Cover earmuffs, kids. It's going to be a shit show. And I cannot wait at all. Now for the actual game. Y'all, West Virginia has done what they were supposed to do. They got beat by Penn State, and they blew out a bad FCS team. Pitt has not done what they're supposed to do. If not for 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns that didn't impact the outcome, Pitt would have gotten blown out by Cincinnati last week. Blown out. And they were a 7.5-point favorite. Pitt might not be very good. Obviously, this is a big game for Pitt. It's a rivalry game. They care. They're coming off a loss. They want to get a win. But Neil Brown needs this game. He needs this game for his career in West Virginia. If he wants to stay in Morgantown, he needs this win because this is a loss with what's coming up after this game with TCU and Texas Tech. They got to get it because this will buy him a lot of leeway throughout the season. West Virginia needs this game. West Virginia has this game at home. The fans are going to be crazy. I wish it was still Pitt favored because it would make this a lot easier. But let's see, what's the best line I can get? I think it's
1.5. There might be someone might have a random one somewhere. If it's a real book.
I see some random ones. I see mostly 1.5. I'll take 1.5. Give me West Virginia to win this game, to cover the 1.5, to win the Backyard Brawl, and for West Virginia fans to just celebrate for the next 8 days afterwards. Chris?
Yeah, I really want this for West Virginia. I mean, I know the I hate Pitt runs strong with them. If I've learned anything,
that's not
since they joined the conference, it's
not I hate Pitt. It's not I hate Pitt.
It's not?
Earmuffs, kids. It's eat shit Pitt.
Well, okay, from Raspy Voice Kids, they just say I hate Pitt.
Well, yeah, because they're that. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's where I learned that from. Okay. So, anywho, oh man, I want to take West Virginia. I've just seen them fold in this position far too many times at home where I feel like, they have a chance or they have a chance to do something and then they just don't. And I'm not going to bet on them to do it here all of a sudden just because it's a rivalry game. I think everybody's overreacting to the game last week from Pitt. Clearly they had this game up next. And, you don't overlook Cincinnati, but it is what it is. I'm not going to overreact from one game. Going into it, I think Pitt's the better team. FPI favors Pitt in a major way. It's not even that close. I'm going to take Pittsburgh, but I really want West Virginia to win. I would like to see that.
Daniel?
Man, some serious money came in on West Virginia there, man. That's a big flip. I don't really know. Yeah, maybe people just down on Pitt. I don't want to besmirch West Virginia, but there's not a lot to be up on West Virginia about right now. So it's like down on Pitt, then a rivalry game, and Pitt's got UNC coming up after this. I hate Pat Narduzzi. I just think the guy's such a bad coach. He and Dana, man, they're in the back seat together, handcuffed together. It's like these two. I'm gonna reluctantly go with the under here. Both these teams have played to the over so far this year. One was that bad beat with West Virginia and Penn State, but both teams playing a lot to the over. Total's been bet down. Looks like sort of, correct me if I'm wrong, another sort of clear weather day. No rain, light wind. Pat Narduzzi, he's like a slightly to the under coach when he's on the road. Divisional game, backyard brawl. What do we have? 47.5?
We have 47.5.
God, this thing's literally saying this is going to be a 24-23 final, huh? I can't see Pitt scoring 23 points. Yeah, give me the under.
My only concern here is Cincinnati made Pitt's secondary look bad last week, and that's usually a staple of a Pitt defense. Either Cincinnati is really good this year, like way better than we think they are, or Pitt's defense is just not there. And look, don't get me wrong, Pat Narduzzi loves defense. He hates offense. So if your defense isn't there for Pitt and you're not going to play offense, could be a long year for Pitt. Boo-hoo, so sad, don't care. Okay, moving on along, let's hit a couple of these quick. Oklahoma State welcoming the team I believe is their most difficult non-conference opponent, South Alabama to Stillwater. OSU at the moment pretty much a 7-point favorite across the board. Total on this one is all over the map. I see 48s, 47.5. Is that a 49 at Circa? That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
they're hanging out.
All right. Hey, if they're going to hang it, someone might want to take it. Let's see. It's supposed to be Daniel, me, Chris, Daniel, me. It should be Chris. Chris is up first. Chris, what would you like, sir?
All right. Man, I am not sold on this Oklahoma State team. I do not think they're very good. I think they're middle of the pack Big 12. I don't understand what Gundy's doing with the 3 quarterbacks. Hopefully he'll nominate someone here soon for the starter job. It's tough, man. Last week, I don't want to take too long in this game, but last week I was super frustrated against Arizona State. It's an ugly game. You take the lead, you start finally building some offensive momentum under Gundy, and it's a 2-point game. Take the lead, they punt, you get the ball back, and then you throw in a cold quarterback in the fourth quarter. You hasn't warmed up since 3 hours ago or 2.5 hours ago, whatever it was. Like, they thankfully did what they're supposed to do, and they took care of that, and they got the W there. But that's not a recipe for long-term success. Super frustrating. All that to say, I think Oklahoma State's the better team here at home. Give me the Cowboys. I just don't feel good about it.
Daniel?
Oh, for all that, you went OK State.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta share my man. That fourth quarter decision really, I had to vent that a little bit.
So, I'm not sold on South Alabama personally. Tulane's good. Tulane kind of stomped South Alabama, and then I don't know. They had a get-back game last week against Southeast Louisiana, whoever they played. I think that's who it was. And it's like, he did all right. I mean, they did fine. Quarterback did fine. They won, 35-17. I know last week was ugly for Oklahoma State, but, I mean, what do you want? They went on the road. They won by margin. It was an ugly game, and they got out of there with a win. Now they get to go home, non-conference opponent that people are kind of high on. I don't know that I buy it. I'm not as low. I think the media and the general sense around OK State right now is that like they don't have something figured out, and I don't entirely feel that way. I mean, I know the quarterback thing's a little silly, but I think they cover this 7. This is either they cover this 7 and they win by double digits, or South Alabama somehow wins this game, and it's like, okay, now I really don't know what's going on with either of these teams. Oklahoma State is going to cover this 7 this week against South Alabama, and it's going to happen in the second half.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you show that the line has come down since it opened at 9?
Yeah.
7, but it looks like the majority of the bets are on Oklahoma State.
I wouldn't really look at so that sort of ticket percentage stuff. It's fun and it's cute and it's like cool to read, but so a lot of these pages that put up these numbers, number one, some of these pages that put up numbers is probably just BS noise. I think in the case of like Action Network, they have agreements. They have what are called affiliate agreements with some books, and they'll have 1 or 2 books where they get their information. So it's like when we're reading that, you're reading, I'm making this
small
up,
sample size.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they just have numbers from like, FanDuel, and maybe that's it or something, and again, I'm speculating. I don't know exactly how they have it set up, but it's something like that. We're looking at maybe 1 or 2 books, and it's like, is the information trailing by a day? We don't really know. So again, it's fun to take a quick look at it. I would say don't get too caught up, don't get too bogged down in like, ticket money splits and stuff like that from pages that have affiliate agreements with books.
Okay. I love when our quick ones take a while.
Yeah,
Look,
right.
I think Oklahoma wins this game. I know I was really high. South Alabama was my, G5 preseason darling. The shine has come off of them a bit. This does have weird vibes to it. I do think this is the best opponent Oklahoma State's played in the non-conference. Yes, that includes Arizona State last week. I want to ride with you guys. But if I'm going to get a 49 from Circa, I'm taking the under. Because the under's hit 2-0 for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's covered 2 weeks, but one of those FCS. I don't want to talk about that. But the under has hit 2 weeks in a row for Oklahoma State. At a 49, thank you, Circa. I appreciate that. That is a gift. That is a kindness that you have bestowed upon me. Give it to me under 49. All right. Look, this is going to be our game of the week. I was going to pull a spot from Prize Picks, unless it's Wednesday night and Prize Picks doesn't have all the college stuff up yet, and they don't have a Big 12 game up yet, so I can't pick anything from this game. But BYU on the road at Arkansas. I will be at this game. Very, very excited about that. This is going to tell us a lot about an Arkansas team that I'm not super high on, and a BYU team that I don't have a good read on. Arkansas currently an 8-point favorite over BYU. Total is, I see 47s and 47.5s across the board. Let's see. Daniel, sir, what would you like here?
This is a fascinating game. I'm really looking forward to this game. I didn't know you were going, man. That's really cool. You're gonna have a great time. Okay, a couple things going on here. Arkansas, I believe, the guy they're sort of using as their bell cow this year. I believe he's out this week. His name, I can't remember, but he's good enough to where I think he's sort of worth maybe about half a point personally to the spread. And so I bet this game earlier in the week. I bet this at BYU plus 10.5. I had some stuff on them I really like. My line for this is closer to an 8, and even make a 7.5 with that running back out. I liked the low total, and I like that it's getting bet down. So BYU was out at 10.5. That's down now to 7.5. I think one, maybe even two groups bet this under, because this thing has dropped 4.5, 5 points across the market. BYU head coach, his name escapes me, but he's a non-conference and visitor. He's a big under coach. His under is like in the last 5 years, non-conference and being a visitor, his under something like 9-2 or 9-3 or something like that. But both these numbers have moved so much. Just for the sake of the pod, I will make a pick. I don't know that I would bet these right now. I'm going to roll with. I'm going to go BYU plus 8. I think that's the best line that's available to me right now. I'm taking BYU plus 8. I've got real money on the 10.5. I can never tell you to take the 8. I also like the under, but it's like that number's been hammered so much. I couldn't tell someone in good conscience to bet that under now, but let's go BYU, cover this bad boy.
Let's see. You're saying on the road unders. Let's see. Kalani Sitake is the head coach of BYU. Has been since 2016. So let's go look at BYU on the road since 2016. And the over-under. BYU is 17 and 19. So 19 and 17 to the under. So just a slight lean there. That's just as away team. I don't know about away. Can I do away non-conference? How about just non-conference? But they haven't had a conference. I don't know how that works.
Oh, excuse me. As a dog, as a visiting dog.
Man, you're getting some stuff I can't think as away. Oh, good. Okay.
Sorry.
No, as away underdog since 2016. 6-9 to the over. So 9-6 to the under. 9-6 to the under. Okay. I liked that total a lot more when it was about 4 points higher. I don't buy Arkansas so far. That running back you're talking about is Raheem Rocket Sanders that will not be playing. I live in Arkansas. I get to watch a good amount of Arkansas. I have not been impressed by Arkansas at all. Now, it's not like I've been impressed by BYU. I still don't know who that team is, but I have not been super impressed by Arkansas so far. I'm taking BYU to cover the 8. I think they can. Like, I lean towards Arkansas winning this game because I just haven't been all that. Like, I still don't know what my read on BYU is, but my lack of this feels like an open year in the West in the SEC. Like Arkansas should be like chomping at the bit of that opportunity, and they just have not done much that impresses me so far through 2 weeks. So I'll take BYU to cover this one. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much a coin flip. I mean, it is what it is. I probably wouldn't bet in real life since both of you lined up on the same side. I'm just going to take the easy money, going to take Arkansas to cover, and let that be that.
It's a winning strategy. It is a winning strategy. So there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Okay, we've got our first official Big 12 conference game of the season. Houston welcoming TCU to Houston. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm excited for it. Obviously, I won't be watching it. TCU is currently a 7.5 point favorite on the road. Total in this one is 64.5. I've lost track of whose turn it is. I think Daniel went, so I think it's my turn. It is.
I think it's you. Yeah.
I have no, what the hell happened to Houston last week? You got down 28-0 to Rice. I'm glad you mounted the comeback and came back and lost in double overtime. I don't think Houston is that bad. I don't. I think they just weren't prepared in that game whatsoever. I don't think they're very good. I think Houston might actually end up being the worst team in the Big 12 this year. Yeah, look, TCU. I got nothing. I got no read on this game. I just Houston's been bad. TCU is, I know they have a loss, but let's not act like they got blown out or something. They lost a close game to a hard to predict Colorado, who's a whole lot better than anybody thought. TCU is, I wish I could get this open at 6. I wish I could get this under a touchdown because that'd be great. At 7.5, fine. I'll take it. I'll get TCU to cover. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit on it for me a little bit. On the TCU side, I don't think they're as bad as that Colorado loss. They're just a couple unlucky breaks away from winning that game by 3 scores. It is what it is. We've talked about it before. Colorado, clearly they have some momentum, some swagger, some luck on their side right now. We'll see how that holds out for them. But I'm not going to – I don't think TCU is as bad as we saw there. I think they bounce back. This is the first real game we're going to see. After that, the first real test. On the Houston side, listen, I'm quickly just hating this team. It doesn't matter if I bet against them or for them. They do the opposite. Last week, oh man, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Houston right now. I'm going to take TCU to get this cover on the road.
Daniel?
I just want to say I love that Rice won that game last week. God, that was such a fun game to follow.
Listen, they were actually winning for me. I was like, okay, I didn't believe in week 1, bet against them. It blew up in my face. I was like, okay, I'm going to ride with Houston. I counted them out. And
we should remember from last year, every time we start to come around to Houston, they shoot us in the foot. Every time.
Every time.
I mean, this is 3rd year in a row, well documented. Dana listens to the pod. He knows. He knows what you guys are picking. He likes messing with you too. I'm riding with the over here. It's a little bit of, this can be a get right game for Houston's offense if they want. Look, I think TCU might just have a little bit of an average defense. I don't know. I sort of don't know at this point, they played last week Lamar or something, or Nicholls State, something like that. Right. That's I don't know. I don't know how TCU's defense is going to be this year. If Houston has any life, any confidence at this point, offensively, they're going to be able to do something as TCU. And I think TCU should not have any issues scoring in this game. Sonny Dykes wants another get right against a real opponent. So for each of them, it's like a 38-31 type finish, 41-31, something like that. So this game's going to go over that posted total. What do we got, 64 right now?
Yeah, I think 64 and half. Hold on. What's the best one I can get you? Who's got a 60? I see 64 and a half everywhere except.
Yeah, 64. That's fine. This thing's going to land in sort of the 68 plus range. So maybe higher. I think it could get pushed into the 70s, but we'll see. Give me that over.
All right. This has not been. We got a few more picks. Every podcast is someone's first. If you're a first time listener for whatever reason, like we're usually better than this. Oh man. Yes.
Are we?
I'm on fire. I'm lining up. I'm lining up 10 and 0
episode
right
was
now.
awesome.
What do you mean?
Okay, we were fantastic. We were smooth. We were clean. We're gonna go over an hour on episode. I'm like, yeah, we won't even need an hour tonight. This is gonna be great. I just only got 10 picks. We're gonna go quick ones. Yeah, no. All right. Texas coming off that massive win on the road at Alabama. Currently we're going to go with 30. I see some 29s, 29 and a half. So we'll just, whatever you want to do. A 30-point favorite over Wyoming, total at 48 and a half. That one's pretty consistent across the board. I don't know whose turn it is. We're going to say it's Chris's turn. You're up, bud.
Yeah, big shock. A few years into NIL and Texas is becoming a monster. Who saw that coming? This is they look really good. And I hate that they're going to win the Big 12 on the way out, but they are. This conference is theirs right now. However, I think I'm going to take Wyoming. I don't feel good about it. Texas could cover this by halftime, but I'm going to take Wyoming to cover the 29 and a half, I think is what I can get it for right now. They, coming off the huge win at Alabama, they're going to celebrate that for a little bit. Then you got Baylor up next. More of a position pick for me. They're going to win this game, obviously, but, they're going to have a hard time taking it seriously.
If you want
give me Wyoming
plus 30.
Oh, perfect. I'll take it.
Daniel.
I'm rolling with Chris here. I love this spot for Wyoming. I'll have real money. I'm going to wait. I hope this thing gets out to 30 and a half, 31. I'm going to wait to bet it on Saturday, but I mean, this is Wyoming or nothing right now. Sark just exercised demons on the road last week, and these guys got to come home and now play Wyoming, who has a competent defense and a competent ground game. Like, that's a recipe for a dog to hang. So we'll keep it quick. Wyoming plus 30.
Do I take what we believe is the easy win by expecting Texas to cover? Do you have the not let down because they're not going to lose, but the post big win hangover is still there? I don't know. I really want to take the under in this game. I'm just afraid it's right on the mark. Like you look at Texas scored 37 against Rice, 34 against Alabama. The Rice game was weird. Like they've got to go to game at Baylor, who's in a bad spot. I kind of want to take the under. I think Wyoming is going to try and slow this game down. I think their defense is decent enough to do a little bit to slow Texas down. I think Wyoming's probably not going to score very much. Like, if this is a low-scoring game, then Wyoming covers because Texas wins, 35-7, right? And so you just get that. It's just inside of 30. I think I'm going to take the under. Because I could see this going one of two ways. I could see Texas saying, we got past the big one. Let's just roll. Let's just put this thing on our back and just bulldoze everyone until we feel like we were up against an actual opponent like Oklahoma. And I think that's how they're going to look at the Big 12 this year is everyone's coming to get us. Let's put the target on them in our minds. And we're not going to tiptoe around. We're just going to go beat it because we just went on the road and beat Alabama. None of you are going to scare us after we did that. And we beat them soundly. It was not a fluky, weird, goofy. Like, we went in and beat Alabama on the road. None of y'all are going to scare us the rest of the way. I'm really concerned Texas might just come in this game and like, well, there's the bad. Nope, no hangover. We're ready to roll. I'm going to take the under. The concern here for me on the under is that just Texas hits 48 points on their own. They haven't done that yet, but like that would be the only concern that I would have in this situation. But I'm taking the under. I feel better about that. Last Big 12 game of the week to pick: Kansas on the road at Nevada. Another late night game. I think this is a 9:30 kickoff. Kansas currently a 4-touchdown favorite. When's the last time Kansas was a 4-touchdown favorite against anyone? Total is at 58 on the road at Nevada. Daniel, you're up, sir. What would you like?
I'll keep it short and sweet. Kansas should cover this game. Nevada's about as bad as it gets right now in college football. My only concern, I think this is a little bit of maybe a look ahead for Kansas. Well, I'm a BYU now, so I don't know. Just late kick. Kansas got to cover, basically win this thing by 30. It's just a tough spot, and the back door's open, right? Like, unless Kansas is up like 42-7 or something with 4 minutes left, this door's open. So I'm going to hold my nose. I'm taking Kansas on the road, -28.
I'm with you. I don't know how the Big 12 scheduled so many G5 schools that might be the worst program in FBS this year. But we've had Arkansas State, we've had Kent State, now we have Nevada. That is a bottom of CFB this year. Kansas should have no problem. Like, their defense actually did a good job against Illinois. Like, Nevada's offense is way worse than Illinois'. Their defense is way worse than Illinois'. Like, Kansas should have no problem going on there. Like, it could be one of those, like, low-scoring late, but I absolutely see a situation where we're good into the second half and Kansas puts up, like, 28 points in the third quarter and covers this no problem. I've got Kansas -28 as well. Chris?
Yeah, Nevada has no rush attack. That's not going to get any better against the Kansas rush defense. Kansas pass defense is not terrible. I like the Jayhawks here. I don't like we're all on the same side. Also don't like the 28. I wish it was 27 and a half.
Wishes and butts, candies and nuts, and yada, yada, yada.
So I'm buying down half a point. This is what I'm telling you guys. So I'm just kidding.
Count as half a win.
Oh, can I take the automatic win with Nevada and then just go against you guys? No, I feel Kansas. I'm going to take Kansas.
Well, there it is. Wolfpack covers for
sure. What do you do? I'm in a lose-lose situation.
We all got Cincinnati and Oklahoma State last week when we all agreed. The only three-way agreement we have been wrong on was Baylor in week 1. But we were 2-0 last week when we all agreed on the same thing. So, just saying. All right, it's time for our non-Big 12 pick. Everybody can pick one game. You can pick a dog if you want. You can pick a total. You can pick a spread. Any game, non-Big 12. I think I am up first. I have real money. I'm doing it again. I take a dog to win a game. I'm not going to take the straight up, though. I'm taking Georgia Southern. I need to see what they're at because when I got them at +19.5. So let's see if that's still available. Against Wisconsin. I can still get it at 19.5. Oh, is that a 20? Oh, please tell me that 20 is at Circa. Oh, it is. I'm going to take it. Circa's real. That's real numbers. I'm taking Georgia Southern to cover 20 points. Like, Georgia Southern is pretty solid. They're a pretty solid team so far. Like, they're not world beaters. They're not going to go undefeated. They're not going to beat the world. But, like, I've been very unimpressed in year 1 for Wisconsin. I could absolutely see Georgia Southern covering a 20-point spread against Wisconsin. I put $2 on them to pull off the upset straight up because it just seemed nice to get a, what was it, +575? Yeah, I couldn't turn that down. I think they covered. I got Georgia Southern, and if I get it at +20, that's even better. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to SEC. Vanderbilt on the road at UNLV. UNLV 3-0 against the spread. Vanderbilt 0-2 against the spread, I believe. So I like that. I like that UNLV is the home team. And UNLV coming off the big loss to Michigan last week. I think Vanderbilt's not going to be quite the challenge Michigan was for them. So I like UNLV to to cover here. I believe it's a 4.5-point game, but I was trying to find the updated line,
It is
but
a 4.5.
I couldn't find it. Okay, 4.5.
All right, Daniel.
I'm rolling with Georgia Tech. This line just feels too big to me. 18 against Ole Miss. I mean, Tulane's D is the strength of their team, and obviously their quarterback was out last week. But it's like Tulane hung that whole game, and Ole Miss got really lucky to cover there at the end. Actually, Tulane covered the game with like 3 minutes left, and then it got silly in the last 3 minutes, and Ole Miss ended up covering. But it's like now Ole Miss has got to come back. A lot of injuries on offense, and they have to go cover three scores against a Georgia Tech team that I feel like is absolutely on the up. And they don't like Georgia Tech's quarterback is solid. Guys, I can't remember his name. Haynes something. Anyway, like Georgia Tech isn't some pathetic team here. We've got a banged up Ole Miss that squeaked by Tulane, come home, now got to go cover 3 scores. Like that sort of doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. Georgia Tech 18. I could go on and on. I'm gonna have real money down on this, but yeah, this feels like a 8-point game or something, or 10-point game. I don't know.
Like it. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent work, everybody. Are we under an hour? No. We passed an hour. We did. What a shame. It's all right. This was fun. Good luck to everybody. You know what? Go check out the YouTube channel, 1012 Podcast YouTube. Special teams show is up. Colton Boomer, UCF kicker, was our guest for this week. We've got an interview about BYU soccer. You should go check out as well. 1012 Network on Twitter and Blue Sky. 1012 Pod on Instagram and Threads. Check out the Patreon, link in the bio. Shop Charlie Hustle. Go check out Prize Picks. Yada, yada, yada. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Daniel and Chris, love you guys. Talk to you next week.